Two families are mourning after the discovery of a horrific scene inside of a home inside of Jacksonville's Arlington area.
I know my family, like my grandma, they not taking it well, but I'm gonna be strong for them because that's what they need right now.
I called his mother and told him, I said, Bryant roommate is back on that stuff. I said, it seems like he's having a hissy fit.
Lots of family members have shown up. We've family members for both of the victims. But I want to bring you over this way here for a second because just to humanize one of the victims, we're told his name is Brian. The manager of this store right here, it's called R&R Crab House. It's a seafood place. He remembered Brian a lot. He said that he knew him for years. He said that this is the same man who would come here, who would come and mow the grass, help chop down a tree that was threatening the place.
Around noon on August 1st, a man flagged down a Jacksonville sheriff's officer on Cesare Boulevard to report he'd shot two people inside his Arlington home located on Whitlock Avenue. Upon entering the home, they would locate an unresponsive adult female and an adult male in the living room.
Police continuing to investigate the deaths of two people. This scene in the Arlington area. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says their investigation began around noon today when a man waved them down saying that he shot two people inside of a house.
Police say the deadly incident happened at a home on Whitlock Avenue. News4JAX Eric Avanier joins us live from that scene. Have you learned anything more about who's died and who may have done it, Eric?
Yes, this has been a very somber and tragic scenario here. I can tell you that since we've been out here for a little more than an hour now, and family members of the deceased are starting to come up this way. They're asking us what happened. We can only relate to them what we were told by police. I can tell you that the crime scene is here along Whitlock Avenue. It's at a home just I would say about 80 yards down to the right there. Now, here's what we know so far. We know that according to JSO, sometime around noon, there was a man who flagged down a police officer and said that he had shot two people inside of a home here on Whitlock. Officers came to investigate, and that is when they found the bodies of an adult male and an adult female.
The victims were identified as 40-year-old Shalay Curtis and her 44-year-old boyfriend, Brian Gates, who were both sadly pronounced dead at the scene after succumbing to multiple gunshot wounds. 40-year-old Shalay Curtis was a kind, outgoing, and loyal woman with an infectious smile and spirit to match. She would always go the extra mile to help family and friends. When she loved hard. Most importantly, she was a mother to a small child who meant the world to her. 44-year-old Brian Gates was a well-known and friendly individual who was known throughout the community for being an outstanding and solid person. Brian never met a stranger. Everywhere he went, he always ran into someone he knew. He had a close relationship with his son, who recalled many memories of the two hanging out together, especially the days they would battle it out on the basketball court.
Brian Gates Jr. was not surprised by his father's popularity.
He was very famous. He was very friendly. Everywhere I went, when I was little, hanging out with him, he always knew somebody, dapping up somebody, all smiles. He was a great person.
Gates Jr. has many memories of his dad, but says the memories that really stick out are those of him and his dad battling each other on the basketball court. So there were some epic battles on the basketball court.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. He made me, my competitiveness comes from him mostly. Yeah. Up there at Bruce Park. Yeah.
All that's left now are memories of those epic battles on the court, memories of the fun times between a father and son.
After flagging down police and confessing to the shootings, the male suspect was positively identified as 42-year-old Dayton Haggerty. According to Brian's family, he owned the home in the Arlington neighborhood and had known Haggerty for years. He was trying to help him get back on his feet by allowing him to live in the home rent-free. Moments before the Arlington block became a crime scene, a friend of the family said he was on his way to work and called Brian's mother to report seeing his roommate on the sidewalk acting strange.
And I happened to notice the guy was on the sidewalk, pounding the sidewalk, beating his head like he was just really hysterical out of it. And whatever the case may be, I kept on going, and I called his mother and told him, I said, Bryant roommate is back on that stuff. I said, it seems like he's having a hissy fit.
2 hours later, he got the call to come back to the area because police were investigating a homicide at the house. A neighbor who spoke to police said they heard a loud noise from inside the home, but did not realize it was gunfire. That neighbor said they walked outside and saw Haggerty slam a handgun onto the roof of an old Chevy Impala. Then moments later, he was seen walking in a direction away from the house. The murder weapon was subsequently located on top of that same vehicle. What led up to the shooting remains unclear, but relatives and friends of Ryan told reporters there had recently been some tension between the two men. Sadly, Shalay got caught in the middle of something that had absolutely nothing to do with her.
Today, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office announced the arrest of 42-year-old Dayton Haggerty. Investigators say he flagged down police after the shooting last week.
Yeah, the victims were identified as 44-year-old Brian Gates and his girlfriend, 40-year-old Shalay Curtis. That shooting was at the couple's home on Whitlock Avenue near Cesare Boulevard.
And that is where News for Jax reporter Eric Avignon joins us live with the latest on this investigation. Eric?
Well, we now have a better idea of what happened inside this home that led to the discovery of, shall I say, a very gruesome discovery by police. Also, follow me here. We also now know why the top of the roof of this Chevy Impala was part of the initial investigation. When Jacksonville police entered this home on Whitlock Avenue last Thursday, they discovered the bodies of 44-year-old Brian Gates and his girlfriend, 40-year-old Shalay Curtis. Investigators say both victims were shot multiple times. The shooter was identified as 42-year-old Dayton Haggerty. Relatives of both victims told News for Jax that the couple allowed Haggerty to live with them rent-free because he was Gates' friend who had nowhere else to go. What led up to the deadly gun violence is still unclear. A neighbor who spoke with investigators but did not want to be identified in this story told News for Jax off camera that they heard a loud noise from inside the house. Now, at the time, they did not realize that noise was gunfire. Moments later, the neighbor walks out the door and sees Haggerty slam a handgun onto the roof of this old Chevy Impala. And then moments later after that, Haggerty was last seen walking in that direction away from the house. Investigators say Haggerty later flagged down a police officer who was patrolling this block of Cesare Boulevard, located a half-mile from the house. According to detectives, Haggerty told the officer that he had shot two people inside the home where he was living. When police showed up here to do a welfare check, they discovered the deceased victims inside the living room. Police also say they found the murder weapon still sitting on the roof of the Chevy Impala that was parked in the driveway. As for the victims, News for Jax spoke with their families. Shalay Curtis's cousin said Shalay had an infectious smile.
She's always willing to go the extra mile to help family and friends, just as a kind spirit. But she loved hard.
Dayton Haggerty was detained and arrested on a charge of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He had been convicted of cocaine possession charges in a 2015 case, prohibiting him from possessing a firearm. Evidence would later lead to 2 murder charges, 1 week after the murders. The case remains ongoing.